We consume more calorie-dense food today than at any point in human history. Yet, despite this massive influx of fuel piling up on our plates, chronic fatigue remains our universal baseline. We are constantly eating, and we are constantly exhausted. Curious, this contradicts the standard nutritional assumption we all grew up with. We are taught to view the human body as a simple combustion engine. In this model, food equals calories, and calories strictly equal energy. If you are tired, you simply need to eat more calories to fill the tank. But digestion is never free. Breaking down any piece of food requires your body to spend its own internal resources first. Your stomach, your intestines, and your metabolic pathways have to perform intense physical and chemical work to extract anything useful from a meal. When you consume living foods, like wild greens or fresh vegetables, the net energy balance is positive. You gain more than you spend. Industrial processed foods arrive carrying a heavy chemical load of preservatives, emulsifiers, and heavy metals. Before your body can extract a single calorie, it has to aggressively neutralize and sequester those foreign chemicals. This dynamic is the core thesis of the Food Coherence System, or FCS. This biological framework maps how light, structured water, and electromagnetism sustain the human body. Under this model, highly processed food forces your organism into an energy deficit. The body spends more internal resources processing the chemical load than the food ultimately provides. It actively steals your life energy. If consuming high-calorie food is leaving us in a state of systemic exhaustion, then calories cannot be the true biological currency our bodies run on. There is a hidden internal battery we are blindly depleting with every highly processed meal. To see how processed food drains us, we have to look past the stomach and into the microscopic interior of the cell. Everything from your DNA to your muscle fibers is suspended in a specific architectural environment, the water matrix. When standard bulk water enters your body and presses up against water-loving biological surfaces, like your cell membranes and fascia, it transforms. It undergoes a phase transition into a semi-crystalline fourth state of matter, known as exclusion zone, or EZ, water. Chemically, this is H₃O₂, and it snaps into a highly organized honeycomb lattice. This resulting honeycomb lattice holds a concentrated negative charge, while physically pushing positive charges outward. This exact separation of charge creates potential energy. Your cellular water functions identically to a microscopic biological battery. Nature never abandoned its oldest mechanisms. The biological process that charges this internal battery is something we usually only associate with plants. Deep inside our cells, the human body actively undergoes a foundational step of photosynthesis. Ambient infrared light continuously penetrates your skin and tissues. When this ubiquitous light hits the water inside you, it expands that structured EZ water layer. This light-driven reaction continuously recharges the internal electrical grid that powers your cellular movement, protein folding, and systemic communication. Human cells do not run solely on the food we digest. We are solar-powered, relying on this light-driven water battery to maintain biological order and hold the structural tension of our entire physical form. The chemical load from industrial food acts as a physical antagonist to this delicate, light-charged biological grid. These additives actively short-circuit the water matrix through several well-documented pathways. The first mechanism of theft is oxygen depletion. Nitrites, commonly found in processed meats, bind to your red blood cells and directly strip them of oxygen. This forces your cardiovascular system into overdrive, draining massive amounts of energetic reserves just to keep your tissues breathing. Next, phosphates. Added to soft drinks and baked goods, phosphates aggressively bind to internal calcium and magnesium. This reaction leaches the piezoelectric charge, the natural electric voltage generated by solid materials like bone and fascia when placed under physical stress, straight out of your body's structural framework. Then we have emulsifiers. These are detergent-like molecules designed to mix oil and water on a factory shelf. Inside your gut, they act exactly like soap, physically washing away the protective EZ water lattice lining your intestinal walls and allowing toxins to leak straight through. Finally, flavor enhancers. These artificial compounds trigger excitotoxic electrical storms in the gut's nervous system. Excitotoxicity occurs when nerve cells are overstimulated by neurotransmitters to the point of damage. This chemical interference drowns out clear cellular communication with severe informational noise. These industrial additives act as informational poisons. They dissolve the body's electrical grid, collapse the water battery's negative charge, and scatter vital internal signals. When this internal battery is continually drained by chemical noise, the macro-level consequence is a state of structural collapse, known in the FCS framework as morphological subsidence. Without the electrical charge from structured water, internal proteins fail to complete their folding cycles. As a result, tissue structurally sags, facial proportions lose their crisp definition, and the nervous system is flooded with corrupted data, manifesting outwardly as severe brain fog. To stop this energetic theft, the food coherence system provides an explicit metric. We must consume foods that carry coherent biological information. Coherent foods, such as fresh, living plants and grass-fed meats, are natural solar accumulators. They emit steady biophotons. Biophotons are ultra-weak particles of light produced by living biological systems. When you consume these foods, they deliver the ordered light and raw materials required to rebuild your EZ water matrix. When your body processes coherent foods, digestion stops being a metabolic tax. It becomes an energy-positive transaction. You receive clean informational signals instead of chemical noise, and your internal electrical grid strengthens. To truly thrive, we must stop treating our bodies like combustion engines built to burn industrial sludge. We have to start operating them as the solar-powered, self-organizing systems they actually are. The health of your internal battery depends on it.